Alright, we're getting ready to start an Alkyd painting project here. We have a big canvas. What's the size of that canvas, Laurel?
It is 18 inches by 48 inches.
Okay, 4 feet by
Foot
and a half. And Laurel has never done an Alkyd painting before, so we're going to just plunge right in. We have some basic Alkyds here. It's a little set, and then we bought some other basic colors that are going to be in these boxes. And we're going to look at this color chart over here, which I'll turn around so you can read it better. And that color chart is going to be helpful because it'll show her how to mix colors. If she wants an olive green, she can look at the chart, figure out which colors will end up being that olive green. She can use a permanent green, light, mixed with quinacridone magenta, and she can get that olive green that she wants. So we're going to start there.
Now Mom and I are getting ready to drop the camera. And then after we drop the camera, we're getting ready to wash the, what was it called?
Okay, now
there's something that makes the brush stiff.
Yeah, okay. When you buy brushes from the store, like this set right here, which is a really good buy, by the way, because it's got a case. It's got a way to keep the brushes so they don't get full of dust. But when you get brushes from the store, they are stiff they're stiffened with something called sizing, which makes it hard. It won't flex. And so we've got to have to wash that off the brushes before we use them. This one is called a round. That's because of the round shape of the ferrule right here. I'm twisting it. You can see it's round. This one, obviously, is not a round one. It's called a flat. And these are usually stiffened and hard so that they don't get bent, like that one there. Good and hard. It feels like it's made out of rock. And so what you have to do is you have to first, I usually use 2 baths. I have one bath that has a little bit of dish soap in it and water, and then one that's just plain water. And I have some old towels over here. So you go in here and you wash the brush and try to get that sizing off. Feel it, make sure it's good and clean. And then I run it over here and try to get the soap out. And then I dry it in its shape. You try to dry it in its shape, like this. And point it back up. And we're going to put them back in there to dry later, but we're going to lay it aside right now since we know that's what we washed. So now, the next thing is I want Laurel to become comfortable with her colors and understand them, so we're going to make a color wheel. I went online and I just looked up how to make a color wheel, and I drew this crudely by hand on a piece of index stock, which is stiff, like an index card. And we're just going to paint onto that. My color wheel is going to have some browns in it as well, so I've drawn another circle on the inside, which we'll continue to mix colors with. But for right now, we're going to put in the primaries, which are yellow, red, and blue. And then we're going to mix all of our colors from that. The secondaries and all the tertiaries and everything after that. So, we're going to start that now. And I'll show you how to mix colors with a palette knife, and we'll get all that going. Now, the thing about mixing colors and choosing your primaries, that is really critical. The color shade of the primary is critical. Not all red and all blue makes a good purple. In fact, some reds and some blues make a terrible gray instead of a purple. And so you have to be familiar with what a really good primary color is. And a good way to think of that is to think of what you see in your ink cartridges on your printer. That yellow is a sort of a lemon yellow. The red they use there is a magenta type red. It tends toward a pinkish red. And the blue they use is almost a sort of a sky blue. Tends a little bit towards turquoise. They call it cyan. So it's not a purpley blue. It's a mid-range blue is a cyan. So we're going to pick primaries that imitate that shade. Now we're going to make a palette so she has a place to mix the paints. She's got a piece of square glass, which we found at a salvage place, and you can get it from old picture frames. You just need a piece of glass. we're going to use that as a palette, and she's going to tape some white paper to the back of it so that it's not see-through anymore. Some people like gray. You know, each artist is different. You have to decide which is going to work best for you. I happen to like white because I'm used to it. I've been painting for over 35 years, and I'm just used to putting my colors on a white surface, so that works best for me. Now for making palettes, if you can't find a glass with burnished edge like we have over here, like Laurel is making, that has a nice soft edge which won't hurt your hand if you rub your hand on it, because it's burnished.
Good.
It feels good. Now, in case you can't find that, if you can go to yard sales or places like that and get old pictures and picture frames and just pull the glass out. And I put duct tape on the edge, and that keeps me from cutting myself, gives me a nice soft handling edge. And on the back side of this, again, I have paper. Paper's been taped. I don't know if you can see that. And this is my palette. I like these glass palettes because they are easy to clean. I use glass scrapers to clean them. The glass scrapers is just your common $2 style scraper that you can get at Big Lots or hardware stores or anything, with a retractable straight edge. And these are used to scrape the dried paint off like this. So when you're done, you can clean your palette. Now some people use paper palettes that are made of a sort of wax coated paper, and I don't know why I like those. I can't tell you. Those are great because you can mix your paint on them and then peel the thing off when the paint's dried and throw it away, which would be easier. For some reason I like this better. And also I've always got this, if I run out of the paper palettes, then I would have to have something else. And so it's good to have the handy glass ready. Okay. Alright, I'm on camera. Okay, so another thing I've decided to show Laurel is that you need to have a box for all of your paints. And I've found that this type of toolbox that you can get at discount places like Big Lots or Ollie's or any number of places. This makes a really good place to keep your paints. And so this one has a place where I can store small things. And slip knot, you need two of these slip lock pliers. Because sometimes you can't open your paints after years and years, the top won't come off. You need to hold the neck with one, like that. Hang on, let me get the other one. I would use my left hand for that. And you would need to take the other one to grab and turn that's how you get the top off. And that happens more often than you would think with oils and alkyds particularly, but sometimes even with acrylics. So in a box like that, I would keep one here and one there, and other small things that I might use, like if this is a type of medium. And the good thing about this is that this will shut, and then you keep all your paints and things in here. And you have to keep your brushes separately, but this is where you keep all your paints. And it makes it easy to store them and take them with you as you go. Okay, now we're going to have another little lesson. I have some background music on. I hope it's not going to cause a problem. But right now what we're going to do is look at the palette knife here I have. Don't be like me and leave your palette knife out to dry at night, because now I have the task of trying to scrape it off. It's all dried, and I'm having to use my glass scraper to scrape this off. However, I can do that. I'm cleaning off these different palettes, scraping all the dried paint off and into my little trash bag here.